Yeah, and then more regular. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. You know, because obviously he's leaving now. You said I got Nep coming up, so it's like with you. So we touched on the relationship, but it's like I gotta go here now, right? Because it's like all right, he's saying obviously retired. There's a lot up there. Everybody's wondering like. So now, like what I'm asking you is right. Obviously, you say you know him very well. You say you're close. In hindsight now, like looking back on like your last season with Villanova, now obviously it's probably his last season too. Like, do you look back at any of the moments that y'all had and you're just like is there like almost any type of indication where you're like, damn, like is this his last ride? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. How many real niggas in this bitch with a fast car? How many girls you think I fit in the Jaguar? How many?
Going back to Mac Talk, man. Here my dog, Jermaine Samuels, came out and said, "For you about to get on the plane, take a quick trip." I said, "We ain't about to tell them where you going." He said, "We're gonna let them find out." But nah, yeah, appreciate you coming out on short notice. You know you're going through a lot right now, so you got NBA draft coming up, right? Like 2 weeks?
Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks? Yeah, man. So let me know what you're doing to prepare for that.
Yeah, right now, I just came back from California. I was in Santa Barbara working out P3. I'm a PDA Sports, so that's where everybody's based out of. You know, everybody's working pre-draft.
Okay.
So it's just been that every single day, working my body, working my game, making sure everything's staying consistent.
Yeah. Y'all got some names with BDA too. I saw y'all got Chet. Y'all got cuts from Santa Barbara too. Y'all got a couple people.
Yeah.
Who else y'all got?
So there's different guys like that run that are agents, but like the main dude is Bill Duffy, and that's like Luca. That's like RJ Barrett.
Okay.
I mean, Taco's with us, Greg Brown.
Okay.
Taco Fall. Yeah, so we got a whole bunch of dudes that are up and coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Nah, that's sweet. I mean, what have you been doing to like prepare? Like, you say, obviously, like from the transition to just from the Final Four, because I was like in early April. So now it's like about to be end of May, about to be June, draft coming. It's probably like the shortest time. I don't know how it is with the NFL, but like you probably got like, especially if you go far in the tournament, you got like two or 3 months for to just get ready and make that transition. So like, what are some of the things that you've been doing for yourself?
First and foremost, I think the most important thing is like the happy medium of going far in the tournament and then also not going far is how much rest you really have.
Right.
So the first thing I had to do was just take care of my body, just take a couple, like 2 weeks off. And then once you start, hooping again, it's all about what needs to be sharpened. Like teams don't necessarily want to see
like the technical stuff.
Yeah. They want to see what you can do well, not necessarily what you can't do. You know
right. So, and it's a lot of it is like preparing for that role, right?
Yeah,
whatever role it is going to be. So like, what are some of the feedback you've been getting? Like what's your role like going to be like to a team? Like if you get drafted to a specific team and they're like, all right, babe, we're going to need you to do this, that. Like what is your role going to be?
Yeah, I just tell teams I'll do whatever they tell me to do. But I already know. Yeah, whatever it takes. I already know that dudes they get paid millions to put the ball in the hoop. Like 100%. I'm here to like play defense, rebound the ball, make the right play, so and knock down open shots. So I already know like I want to be like a dude who's like Jay Crowder, like Jay Tucker, those type of dudes.
Almost like a 3D.
Yeah, like that's what I want to be. That's what I aspire to be.
Yeah, nah, for sure. I mean, that's also cool just coming out of Villanova, right? Because obviously, like now, y'all in the conversation of those blue blood schools, like with the Duke, UCLA, you know what I'm saying, Kentucky. So it's like, and like within like the last 5 years, y'all done had some names, right? Like Kel, JB, Eric Pascal, Dante. You know what I'm saying? So like talking like what is like obviously like it's cool just coming here because I've been here a lot, so it's like they come back and show a lot of love. You know what I'm saying? Make sure everybody all right. So how has that been with like just like your relationship with them and like how is it like you like how has that helped you prepare you for the process?
I think first coming in early and understanding that it wasn't going to work out right away, that it was a hard adjustment for me. But just seeing how it worked out for them, like they put in the hours. Like Mikhail redshirted, I'm sure a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Dante redshirted, Eric redshirted, even though it was like a transfer thing. But those dudes redshirted and they turned out to be pros.
Yeah, so, for sure. Making money now, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Pascal got a ring, don't he? He was on that team? When the Warriors won?
Nah.
Or maybe that was a year before.
Yeah,
okay.
that was a year before.
Okay.
So, yeah. So once you get further into your career in college, and you start trying to do the same things that they were doing, like they got to the Final Fours, they won chips, they won things like that. You start to appreciate them more. They show love a lot more. They embrace the journey and show love to my journey. So having those guys behind me and
you come from like a winning culture. For sure. Y'all get used to winning a lot. That's tough. That's tough. So I mean, like, were you winning a lot like when you were in high school too?
Yeah. You could say that.
You just used to winning.
Yeah. I guess you could say that. Only time I can only think we ever had like a losing season was like my AU was probably my sophomore year. I was playing up, and then my junior year we were a pretty good team. But it took me a while to learn how to win. But I always wanted. That's the only thing I care about.
You figured it out, right? I see you got DZ drip on. That's tough, man.
I gotta show love, man.
Definitely show love. So we gotta do a quick shout out. I'm saying in the middle of the video, right quick. We ain't even really transition like that, but we just want to show the drip right quick. We say, got my man DZ on. DZ about to come through. You saying? So you the drip real quick.
Hey, man, support my man.
Talk about that.
Y'all come support the drip, man. Y'all see Caleb Daniels, the big head, and Caleb Daniels, man. Y'all come support, man. Show your boys some love, man. Let them get back to what they do.
Link in the description and all that.
Link in the bio, man. Show some love.
Nah, but look, you can look. All right, man. Appreciate you, dude.
Yes, sir.
All right, son. Okay, so this season, right, was one of the hardest seasons, probably in your career. You've been here for 5 years. Yeah. So talk a little bit about that. Like, what made this season different from other ones, right? Because you had seasons where you won the national championship, the Final Four, the second time going to the Final Four. So what made this season different from the other ones, other than Jay Wright leaving, right?
I think the one thing that made it different is the expectation. We basically had a whole, upperclassmen class coming back. Yeah. And we could definitely all agree. I mean, Slade, Colin, Justin could all agree that in the beginning it was kind of rocky because we had lost to some teams we felt like we should have beat. Gave up some leads to UCLA, Purdue. Right. And then, taking a bad L to Creighton, which was a good team. Yeah. And there was a lot of moments during the season where we had to look ourselves in the mirror. We almost fell out of the top 25. Not that we really care about that, but yeah. So
y'all like 19 at one point.
Yeah, it was like we were all looking around at each other. Like, damn, what are we just not getting done? So there's plenty of moments. Guys had injuries. I know Slade, both his ankles were messed up. He was even sick at some points during the season. Yeah. Colin obviously coming off surgery. Justin had ankle issues too. So it was just a lot of challenges this season. I think a lot of it was just trying to uphold the standard. Yeah. And so once we found our little groove, we kind of didn't turn back. Yeah, and just got going. Yeah. For sure. It takes like a lot of mental toughness. Cause like obviously with the standard, right, the Villanova standard, we talk about attitude, right, all the time, attitude, right. Exactly. So it's like, even touch on that, like what does attitude really mean? We say that all the time here. I've been here tons of times. Always attitude. You got that tape to your room. So what is like? What's the meaning behind attitude? Yeah, so attitude is really a lifestyle. That's the best way I can put it. But it's more of like a life thing. You can't control what just happened. It's like it's already in the past. So how are you gonna approach your next move, your next whatever you gotta do? You're gonna have great attitude. You're gonna shitty attitude. Like how are you gonna approach it? Right. That's what it's all about. So it already happened. The best you can do is reflect on it when you have the time. That's film. And that's just when you get a chance to just rest of the day. Yeah, exactly. So it's all about how you approach, the next step. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's a real way to put it. Yeah. For sure. But even so jumping back to like just the NBA draft and like that process, right? So we already talked about a little bit about all the players you came up with, like Chet, Christian Barnes, and that's another good one. That stuff. So I mean, what is it like just being around all those guys? So obviously with Bron, that could be funny because I know he probably gives you ear like we bust our ass in the tournament. You know what I'm saying? So already so talk about that, and then just like we just even go on just like because I mean obviously that talent that's a lot of talent in one draft class. And I mean in this draft class we say you talk about like Paolo, Jabari Smith, Chet, them three, but not even just them. You're saying
it's a tough draft class. So like, who are some of the best guys you've been around and even played against, right?
Yeah, so being out in Cali, I mean, I was expecting to fully go in there. You know, everybody mean-mugging, everybody's on their own.
Yeah.
You know, it's a business. Everybody's trying to get to their their own perspective where they want to be. But everybody was cool. Ever since I walked in there, even EJ Liddell from Ohio State. Like, I don't really mess with you, bro, but he was joking. He's like, you ended my college career.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Christian was like, man, we just killed y'all.
Yeah, facts.
So like, everybody was back and forth. Everybody's extremely competitive too, but everybody's cool. But I would say one of the guys out there that was really impressive to me was Jalen Williams. He's like one of the sleepers.
He's tough.
Yeah, he's super tough.
He's tough.
So that was somebody, super cool dude. All the dudes are super cool. Jabari Walker. Even I got a chance to hang out with guys that are already in the league. Greg Brown, Taco Fall, Chet is cool. So, but our class is stacked. We got a bunch of first rounders out there. Like I said, EJ, Kendall Brown.
I mean, it's going to be a couple that might even go 35, 36 that easily could be in the first round. So it's going to be tough. Yeah, so, for sure.
And then, it feels like, when you look at, on paper, it seems like we got the next generation of hoopers that are coming in this class. Paulo and, Jaden Ivey. Whole bunch of dudes. So, I'm just out here just trying to find a way to
which your way is going to be. And when you even just talk about that, just the competitiveness of just how many people are really, like, how deep the draft class is. Like, it's a million different ways. Not a million, but it's tons of different ways you make your way to the league. So you guys like Fred VanVleet went undrafted. I think he might go down in history as like he got one of the biggest contracts ever, I think, with coming in the league without being drafted or something like that. He said Pat Bev worked his way through overseas. You got guys that make it through the G League. So it's tons of different ways. So it's like, even if you don't hear your name called on that first day or even the second day, it's not over. For guys like you, we already talked about it. You gonna get a bag regardless. You know what I'm saying? It's just figuring out where it's gonna be and then working your way up to the next level, right? Because I already said, like, 30 teams in NBA, 60 picks. It's not 60 players better than Jermaine Samuels. Straight up, it's not. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me, right? That's my 2 cents, right? So I feel like that's just the mindset you gotta go into. Look like, okay, who you put in front of me, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna stop me from getting mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the mindset you gotta have. So. Yeah, that's the
kind of mentality trying to adapt and just compete. I don't necessarily care. I mean, we all care if shots go in and things like that, like spectacular plays. But if I'm not competing at a high level, then what am I out there for? I feel like that's what teams want. That's what teams need. So I'm trying to be that guy. Any way I can, anything to get the job done. So hopefully it all works out. But God, like you said, God got a different plan for me. I'm not opposed to it. I mean, that's why I feel like I was at Villanova.
Yeah. Well, what degree did you finish with?
Communication, and then I got my certificate in education.
Okay, so this could be like a long way down, but whenever hoops is done for you, like what do you see yourself getting into after that?
Man, I'm open to anything for real. Yeah. Honestly, I already got the certificate. I got my education in Villanova, so I can do commentating. Play-by-play. I can do art.
I do a lot.
I forgot, a lot of people don't know I do art.
Yeah.
Check that out, y'all. It's deep in the archives.
So crazy.
Yeah, so I feel like I can do a lot. And I just need, if I find something that I'm really passionate about, I have no problem diving into that. But I feel like I got a good amount of connections, even if I want to, who knows, work for Nike one day.
The doors are open. Like I said, like, just being connected, like the people that's in your circle, and other people that you want to know for a lifetime, just going through that process, like being in the draft. So it's like, now it's like the doors is open with all types of different pathways for you, so you're gonna be set regardless.
Yes,
100%. Yeah, 100%. Now, all right, bet. Let's go into just a little bit, just like, so obviously, I'm saying you get into the process, but like for the next generation coming up behind you, like what would be your advice to them? Just because like earlier, you said me, you and were talking about, even Brandon were talking about, all right, you said you got saying stay focused, keep your head on the right path. I'm saying. God got you, right? Because at the end of the day, you're going to end up where you end up. You know, at the end of the day, you're not really going to have too much say. So, like, what is your advice for a lot of the kids that might be going into their last year of college and it's going to be in your position next year?
I would say, for one, sticking to the course, focusing on what you need to focus on, having good people around you. I think that's the most underrated thing is, having good energy, having people who really care about you around you at all times. And at the same time, you gotta understand, like, no matter what you're doing, and I already know, like, you in real estate, it's not supposed to be easy.
At all.
Like,
at all.
It's not.
It takes time to build a business for sure. It takes time to build up, whatever you're doing too.
Yeah, so it's not going to be easy, but like when it pays off, like those benefits are insane. It doesn't matter how you get there. Like,
okay.
So I think that's one thing that is underrated about, the current generation. I don't think they understand that completely.
Yeah.
Some do, some don't.
They worry about too fast.
Yeah, like they're worried about, what the immediate results. So
and they don't see the time that it takes that you really gotta to put in, right?
Yeah.
Even just talking about just a lot of people see it on TV. You know how people is, and you say people that don't really hoop for it, they always talk about, oh, why you do this, what you do, but it's like people don't know it's different when you know what I'm saying. Like you might even say like step on that court and try to do what we do. You say it 2 or 3 times a week. It's different for sure.
Nah, a lot of people don't understand. But that's what I would probably say to the younger generation. It's gonna take time, but if you want to go get somewhere, you gotta put the work in.
So what about like your relationship with Coach Wright, right? Because him, obviously, you talk about Coach Wright. You say he's gonna go down as probably one of the most, not even just decorated college coaches of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like Hall of Fame, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? So being under somebody like that and getting a chance to because you've been here for 5 years. So it's like sitting down with somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? Like how has he prepared you for getting to the next level? Because like we already named up and got to the East. So you know what I'm saying? He already knows what it takes for sure. So like how has he prepared you, and like what has your relationship been like with him to get you to where you are now?
I think that one of the things about Coach Wright, when I first came in, I was kind of intimidated by him.
Yeah.
But like over time, we grew as we had like a relationship that went beyond just player and coach. And I think it was beyond basketball at a certain point. That's kind of what took me to the next level. Is the things that I learned from him that didn't have to do with basketball. How to like hold yourself accountable as a man, how to be responsible, how to carry yourself through life. And taking those lessons on the court as well, taking them into life. So there's a lot of things that he used to talk about. He's a coach; he's gonna ramble on.
Yeah, for sure. They all do.
They all do. So a lot of the things that I learned from him and how our relationship grew was off the court stuff. Him teaching me like everything I just talked about. So I'm really lucky to have someone like that in my corner because he's one hell of a guy, one hell of a coach. I think more people would say that, he's more of a hell of a guy. More of a guy.
It's gonna be tough. Because obviously he's leaving now. He's saying I got Nep coming up. So it's like with you. So we touched on the relationship, but it's like I gotta go here now, right? Because it's like all right, he's obviously retired. There's a lot up there. Everybody's wondering like. So now like what I'm asking you is right. Obviously you say you know him very well. You say you're close. In hindsight now, like looking back on like your last season with Villanova, now obviously it's probably his last season too. Like, do you look back at any of the moments that y'all had and you're just like, was there like almost any type of indication where you're like, damn, like, is this his last ride? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I think it was like somewhere during the season you could just tell like the newer generation, the NIL stuff coming up, the transfer portal being so open. He would have times where it would just feel like it was a little foreign. The game is changing. You could tell the game is changing as far as college basketball. And he had no gripes with it. He wasn't like an old head like man. Nah, I don't like it or anything like that. I think he was just like, you know what, everything's changing. I think he always felt like things were starting to be beyond him.
Guess it was with everybody.
With everybody. So I think you could probably say the same case for like a guy like Roy Williams, like from North Carolina. So he embraced everything that happened this year, and I think that when he really sat down and had time to spend time with his family, go over like what it is every season. Because it's beyond just the 8 months that you're there. Like it's all summer. It's all spring, like recruiting. Like and then he has like other stuff he has to worry about. I can imagine he was like, you know what, this might be time.
Yeah. So you think like just COVID in general had an effect on that? Because I mean it's crazy. Kind of like no athlete obviously in history had to go through something like that where it's like you stop like almost in the middle of the season. Games canceled, tournaments canceled that year. So it's like that had a big effect on everybody. And it's like. It's crazy that it happened like the same year that Coach K walked away too. So it's like it's just interesting like looking back, just like dang, like I'm saying you got two of the best college coaches, even really coaches in history, just walking away from the game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, nah. I think that COVID year was a very draining year. I think for everybody, not even just coaches, but it's a lot, especially when you've been in the game that long. Like those two have been like Coach Wright. I don't even maybe 2 decades.
Yeah,
basically. So probably even more. And Coach K, we know he's been around forever. So things like that, and even just the grind of a season, it take a lot.
It can take a lot for sure because he's relatively young to retire. So it's like do you see him getting back into basketball, whether it be most guys like that, they'll come and they'll go to the NBA. I'm saying there's a ton of NBA teams that are fighting the coach right now. So it's like, do you think you can see him in the future for him in the NBA?
I can see it maybe later down the road. I wouldn't expect it this year. I think he wants to spend a lot of time with his family. I feel like he might have been missed out on a lot of things.
No doubt.
With his family.
Yeah.
Like that. But maybe when it's all said and done, he's gets that itch again. That passion.
Yeah, because guys like that are wired different, right? You know what I'm saying? You ready to win? Like you spend obviously a lot more time than I have. I got a chance to talk to him, meet with him a couple times, but it's like just the stories y'all like to tell about him. Like sound like he gives me real like Bill Belichick vibes.
Yeah.
I'm a Patriots fan. I know you're from Boston. I don't know if you are too, but he give me real like Bill Belichick vibes. You know what I'm saying? But he smiled a lot more than Bill. Bill don't really smile like that. Bill don't really smile like that. But he's a winner. That's really what they have in common. Because I know you did some stuff with like the Brady brand too, right?
Yeah.
That was tough. Talk about that a little bit. Like, was it like a sponsorship type deal, or like what was it?
It was weird because Coach Wright actually set that up. I
Oh,
wasn't
word?
going to do it at first. I
Yeah.
had the offer, but it was getting all the way down to New York for a photo shoot and being back up, and I had a game the next day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not doing that. Like I'm more worried about the game. And then they pushed it back for me, and Coach Wright had organized it and everything like that. So
you should do it.
Yeah. So I'm still in contact with them, and everything that that happened with that was really cool. Especially all the publicity from it. So it was super cool.
Did you get a chance? Because obviously, like, it's Tom Brady brand. So does he own it?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah. So like, did you ever get a chance to meet him?
No. Last time I saw Tom Brady, I was probably like 10 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It was like a picture game or something? Okay.
It was like a kids meet and greet. It was like Christmas or something like that.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Okay. Nah, that's tough, man. That's tough. So let's get back into like the NBA draft part of it, right? Because I'm saying you get ready draft in like 2 or 3 weeks. So we talk about fit, right? You said that you're gonna like if the team approaches you can be like, look, I'm gonna give y'all whatever y'all need, which I think is a great answer, right? But so for you, like, what does that really mean? Like, so what is your play style? And let's talk about what teams you think you might fit with the most.
I think truthfully, I can fit with any team. My play style is bringing energy, playing defense, and again making the right play, making the right pass, just trying to do anything to make the team win. And I don't think there's any team out there that wouldn't want that.
100%.
So that's the kind of mentality I try to keep. And, I'll continue to work on my craft, work on my shot, work on handle, everything like that when the time comes. You know what position might be in the future.
Yeah.
So
and you come from, like I said, like a great background in Villanova. Like I got tons of guys that saying that don't even go high in the draft, but end up doing a lot better than most of the guys that came before him. So I think a lot of people are like starting to get open to that. So touch on that a little bit because I know you said like before offline, you say some guys I'm saying that some teams that you had met were like we're starting to take notice that there's something going on with these Villanova guys that come out that's hooping. I'm saying like you got D, you know what I'm saying? A lot of guys that came. Even Jay Wright had a pretty good first year, so it's like talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like just those guys, and like now that you're going to be in that pool, Colin too. You know what I'm saying? So touch on that a little bit.
I think that the one thing that teams notice about us is that we're ready to play right away. On a physicality standpoint, picking out the game, IQ, everything like that. A lot of guys that come to the NBA at the high draft picks, they're 18, 19 years old. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
They haven't been on the court as long as we have.
You're still young now.
Yeah, and played at a high level school and high level situations. And I think that those guys do whatever is necessary to win. Dante did it. Milwaukee. before he got hurt, obviously, and they got a chip. Mikal was on his way to get a chip.
Yep.
Jalen, against Golden State this
year.
year.
They didn't win situations.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with necessarily scoring the ball. Everybody that's been in the league, basically, like Archie's still in the league, like even though he was hurt this year.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of teams notice that we're ready to play and that we know how to play the right way. And I think that's a big step.
Yeah, JB's an interesting one because the way his game, like when he came in the league, he was a solid one, but then it was just like these last 2 years, it just made a jump. Yeah. It was just crazy. Now he's definitely gonna be one of the hottest guys coming. So JB's gonna get that back this summer for sure. I don't know where it's gonna be, but JB's gonna get that back this summer. That's what's up because he deserved it for sure. For sure, he's a killer. He's a killer, man, for sure. But I'm gonna let you go, man. I know you gotta work out, coming up, so you better catch up the flight, man. Appreciate you for hopping on the pod with me, dog. You know what I'm saying? You're always gonna be good with me. You say you got my number whenever you need anything. For sure, I got you. We just wrap that up right there, man.
How many real niggas in this bitch with a fast car? How many girls you think I fit in the Jaguar? How many